folks, and welcome to another Saturday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt.
I'm Benjamin. Hello again, my friend.
Hello, and welcome.
Welcome. I'm happy to be back.
Welcome to Time Stories.
Here we go again.
So, a few people have been listening to this.
Emphasis on the time.
Emphasis on the time.
Again.
We have people listening in, and they're very intrigued. And they like how we haven't done spoilers. So, still no spoilers here.
Well, that's good. I'm really happy about that people are interested, A, and that B, that they appreciate our efforts in not spoiling this game.
I've heard from, I think 2, maybe 3, I can't remember. I know 2 off the top of my head. I want to say 3, but I can only think of 2 right now. They've told me that they are interested in playing now, and they looking for a group. And
were these people who we have swayed and have heard about this, and like board game people?
We have swayed. Yes.
Okay.
We have swayed through our many reviews here. So we're going through it with.
So I will say to Pascal Quidal, or whomever Manuel Rosoy is the creator of Time Stories. I will say, you are welcome.
You're welcome. That's right. I hear it's a different artist each time, which I didn't notice.
It seems to be, yes. Pascal, artist. I've seen his name before for the artwork, and he did the artwork. He worked on the artwork for this expansion we're talking about today, which is Lumen Fidei, maybe.
Fidei. I don't know how you pronounce it.
We should look it up before we record things, yes.
It's okay. But this is one, this year
one takes
is
place in 1419 NT.
This is knights and stuff and medieval days, so to speak.
Yes. It's very Knights Templar, Indiana Jones Part 3, kind of Holy Grail stuff.
In a way, yes, it is. This was one, and here's the deal. So Benjamin and I have played this long enough to where we know not to complain. So the story.
Do we though? I wish.
So. The story here. We're running through it. By the way, there is some hilarious moments in this one, if you've recalled, and we're still not doing any spoilers.
No, we never will.
But there's one card you're going to turn over, and it's just fight.
Yeah.
It's just fight.
It's just you're screwed.
You're like. Wait, you're like, why are you fighting them? I said, no, dude, it
says we fight. Right.
There's no story. Never seen anything like that. There's no story. There's not a
Once again,
choice.
There's been a new mechanic introduced. Once again, we thought we knew what we were doing, and we did not. And once again, we've been surprised again and again by this game.
Yeah, and once again, it's an Ace Ventura. Don't go in there.
Do not go in there.
Interesting. One of the there's a nice little puzzle here, and it was a moment. Now I want to say the evening, the weekend before, when we had played the a previous one, we were playing. Oh goodness gracious! Was it Expedition Everest? Expedition Endurance, excuse me, that came out before this.
Expedition Endurance.
And that night was full of screams and yells and whoops and hollers and laughs. Because we were trying to figure, they did a nice little mechanism there that we all enjoyed. But in this one, my wife said, "Are you going to be yelling again?" I said, "No, we're not.
I won't be running up and down the hallway and waking you up again."
But anyway, she said I still woke her up because
of course
what
it did.
Happened. And this is great.
I'm slightly ashamed by this, to be honest, especially now knowing that she asked ahead of time. And I'm remembering our reaction to this one.
It doesn't matter because I didn't think it would happen. I told her the next day.
Well, we should have known better.
We should have known, but the beauty of it was, and again, not giving away surprises. This game is just full of joy.
Yes,
it's full of joy.
It is.
So I'm working on one puzzle. You're looking into another puzzle, and we don't realize that they're connected.
Right,
was the thing
because
we had no because
to save time we split up.
Yeah, I shared my puzzle. You shared your puzzle. Do we have any ideas? I said, "What do you think this means?" And you're like, "What do you think this means?" And then was it Nick that said, "Why don't we put the peanut butter and the chocolate together? Why don't we do that?" And then that's when it kind of
boom,
we just kind of looked at each other and it was like, "That's the answer." We both have different keys and we didn't realize it. And it did feel. I mean, I felt really stupid afterwards because it's obvious. I mean, here I am going, "Hey, what am I supposed to do with this key?" And you're going, "What am I supposed to do with this lock?"
It's so interesting that with the way the mechanic is set up, so that you kind of are encouraged to split up and go on your own, and that's kind of the premise of the game, is that you're not supposed to. And from the very first game, the very first base game, that you're not. If you go somewhere by yourself, you can't read it verbatim. You are encouraged to just tell it in your own words and to figure it out on your own, kind of thing. Unless you all go together, which always seems like a bad idea and a good idea at the same time, and you have to balance that. We don't have enough time to explore this room.
Enough time to
and
explore.
We've learned from the second expansion to the third expansion that some of them are a race. Some of them are take your time, explore. Some of them are this. And so we don't know which way's up.
You don't. The game keeps you guessing.
Keeps you
guessing. Now, this one's pretty much it's a straightforward adventure, but as it gets to the puzzles. Now, the one person who was left out of that puzzle, Nick.
Yeah.
He was the one that had told us. This is prior to the. We just thought we were handling two different puzzles. He said he was having a great time, but he's got to be honest. This may be his least favorite.
He did say that. Yeah, I remember him saying
those words escape his lips.
He sure did.
And the thing is, I let him have that. I didn't correct him because I was like, that's fine. I just know I'm not going to say that ever again until the end.
Yeah.
Until the end, then it's done and finished. And even after that, I need to wait a bit.
Even after that, you don't even know. We will probably get to the very end of this, and
so
who knows what's going to happen.
As you're decoding this puzzle,
like, be sure to drink your Ovaltine style.
Once again,
Oh yeah,
the big reveal is happening, and the big thing's peeled back. And it was, if you could have had, I don't know what maybe Danny Elfman, John Williams, Hans, Zimmer, some composer, was sitting there because
just waiting for their music cue,
waiting for it to just kind of hit us. Because after we had solved it, we're looking at it, we're going, "What is it?" And then you hear the and zoom in on such and such item, but it was just
like an Ash versus Evil Dead moment almost. It was just like the zooming of the camera, like
all heads went in one direction.
Right.
Then all heads looked at each other.
This is my boomstick.
Then I couldn't even. But the thing was, before we even checked to see if we were right.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it did not matter. It didn't matter if we were right, because we knew we were right. We knew we were right when we figured it out. All of us looked, and the music played, and we heard it.
I mean, it was beautiful, because we were looking at each other, and we repeated it. What did they mean
we
by
repeated
stop?
The answer to the clue.
What do we mean?
To each other.
The sentence, just like in a movie.
Yes, exactly. Midway through sentence, three different people,
pause.
Though.
Light bulbs all go
Boom.
off. And
Ching.
We're like,
no way.
Finally, the clue that we got it right, and
we knew we were right.
That's when Megan woke up again.
Oh, of course. Oh, God. I can't even imagine.
It was great, but I did not go down the hallway.
No, I didn't go down the hallway either. No.
I walked to
the
door.
You went to the hallway. You didn't go down the hallway. You walked to the front door. You kicked the wall a few times, I think.
I could not
or
believe
you banged
it.
your head against the wall.
I could not believe
You went
it.
into the kitchen for a while.
Yes, you went into the kitchen.
I went into the kitchen and turned around and came back.
Nick was stunned,
and
standing up.
But the beauty of it was,
saying, no,
he was just like, no. And we just reveled in that moment because they got us again, and I couldn't believe it. And we just reveled in it. We didn't even read it. We didn't even read what was next. We were like, here it is.
No.
And then we all turned. We all figured it out, and there it was. And then we just, for a solid minute or two, didn't do anything else but just react.
And the creators of the game are sitting at home laughing again, going, "Do you hear that? Did you hear that?
Somebody else
figured it out.
Somebody just played Lumen
They
Fidei,
just figured it out,
and they just got to that part."
It's amazing because I know we keep talking about.
It makes you wonder. Like, that's a good point. Like, do movies with great twists in it, do they revel in that at parties. They're like, hey, remember when I made that movie? And it just freaked everybody out. Like even today, to people who like made Inception or any famous like twist movie or something like that, do they just sit around drinking whiskey and like?
No, I bet they disguise themselves, go into the theater and wait for the audience
just wait for it to happen.
Because I gotta be honest. I wonder, I bet anything, if I was the creator, I'd be like, hey, can you guys videotape yourselves playing this game?
How great.
And the thing is, though, just to see those reactions, I can't imagine, I'm sure this gets played at Comic-Cons, board game conventions and stuff like that, maybe even Comic-Cons too, but how awesome is it to, I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually playing this game, but at a board game convention. But if someone was, I would sit there just to wait to see till they got it and watch their face. I would enjoy watching other people's reactions to this game.
I would love watching people play the first game. I would think that anyone live streaming any expansion would be doing a disservice to the people who haven't played it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, they'd have to put spoilers by it.
Because how, though?
I want to see reaction.
Because so much of the game, like, that's what I want. We should probably record it, but not live stream the next session.
Well, no, I know. Record it and then play just the reaction.
Cut out our reaction videos to it and also just have it come with a standby, like text, maybe a scrolling marquee of like, this is not an act. We've done this like 7 times now. This is what happens to us, and it still gets us. We're not overdoing it for the camera because
no, we're not.
It's hitting us every time like this.
It's something.
This one though had my favorite big moment like that. I think this one ended up being my favorite big moment since the first game. Since the very first the base game.
Right. No, yeah. No, I think, and that's the thing I was going to ask you, because it's weird to say this because we played so many great ones.
Nick is like, this is my least favorite one so far.
He uttered the words.
He did. Before the twist.
Yeah. And then he sat back down and he's like, okay, guys, I was wrong. I was wrong.
I didn't hear him even say that because I was still reacting, I think.
But he was blown away, and that's the thing, because the other big surprise previous, Under the Mask, it was me who said, well, that sucked.
Yeah, you were the one who said, this is the worst one I've ever played.
This is the worst one they have yet. And that's because I was too stupid to realize it. But the thing is, though, that I never...
That's another reason I wouldn't want to live stream it, because I would just feel dumb. Because you would watch it, even we would watch it back. I'd be like, oh, God, how stupid can you be?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. I can't believe you said that. Oh,
he said it. You're going to die. It's like, Jason Voorhees is on the other side of that door, and you just...
still said, well, he's gone.
He said,
he's
well,
dead.
I guess I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. That's great.
And he's dead.
I actually got to see someone on YouTube, because after we play these, I'll watch any other reviews to see what other people think.
Oh, okay.
And someone said he did record himself playing.
Wow.
And they show them figuring out the puzzle.
Okay.
And there's it's a clip of him throughout the whole game going,
shut up.
Oh, and keeps doing it. It shows it just
as he's doing all the reveals,
doing all the O's. And then he stands up and goes, I mean, it was really funny to see those reactions. I was like, that'd be hilarious.
And you know how he feels.
But you know how he feels. It's just, it's truly something amazing. And this one especially does something else at the end. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing any spoilers here, but you're gonna get. It's going to open up the dialogue for lore. If you're a fan of the stories connecting and lore, this is one that basically, in a way, just really fills you in on a lot of lore.
It gives
we've gotten little hints here and there throughout. Well,
which have been wonderful.
And this is what... Oh, go ahead.
It has been wonderful to have the hints throughout.
Yeah.
And by the time... Which one is this? 6? 5?
This is 6. Yeah.
Either way, 1, 2, 3, by the time you get here, you're sort of...
Count the base game.
You know what?
6.
Now, at this point, you're even like, okay, maybe we'll get a little clue about the lore. Maybe we'll get a little something. They even defied that expectation. Because now they're like, here's door number 3 with all the lore you could want. But we're still veiled in mystery.
But then, and this is the thing that I don't understand, because a lot of people, and again, we have not played it all the way through, we should say that, so we don't know, but I hear one of the complaints is they don't reveal. They don't answer questions.
Oh.
But
is that the complaint from people who have played it all the way?
That's the people who've played it all the way.
Really?
That's the people who played it all the way. They don't answer all the questions. It's again, no spoilers. We can't even spoil it because we haven't even played the end. But at this point, I'm thinking, okay, there's not that many questions I have after they revealed, because there's a lot of, like I said, lore that kind of goes through everything. And in my opinion, as I read through, and it's pages. I mean, we're talking pages and pages
of reaction.
Lore.
Oh, the lore is
revealed.
Several pages,
and it answers a ton of questions. It answers
it gives
a ton of
tons
questions
of
for us. That and here's the thing.
It's a lot of expanded universe.
It is
stuff that happens.
It's stuff that I never even asked either.
No, exactly. That's exactly right.
Because we never thought about it until we're like, oh yeah, we should be asking
that
question.
That's a very good point, because you think
know what I'm
you
talking
watch
about,
Star Wars. Of course, you watch Star Wars episode 4, 5, 6, and then you're like, well, what was Obi-Wan doing in the desert? Or things like that. You might have asked that question. Maybe you may not have ever asked, I don't know, about the blue milk or something like that. And then now all of a sudden you've got all this lore about the blue milk. You're like, what?
Yeah.
And it's great.
Or questions maybe you should have asked,
right.
that you didn't, and then all of a sudden they give you the answer like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was kind of strange when we did that. So that's what happened. And so I'm looking over this and I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And to me, I mean, I understand there's still some, the overall story arc hasn't been completed yet, and there's still one more mystery that we don't know.
Right.
So but the thing is, though, if they're talking about, there's so many open questions, answers, then I don't know if you read this. I mean, I'm not insulting anyone, but to me, it seemed to answer a lot, not everything, but a lot, and I felt that. And again, remember, these were sent to be played individually off the base game. You didn't have to buy them all.
Right.
They're play whichever ones you want, skip whichever ones you want. If you are playing through them, we'll pull a thread through the story for you.
Right.
We'll give you some slight reward. And this one more so than anything says, hey, if you have been playing them all to this point,
here we go.
Here's a little present for you.
I agree.
Now, if you haven't, you wouldn't get, and you don't have to play these for the lore. I should also say that.
Absolutely
in fact,
not.
None of us went in there because I didn't know this was. I knew it was a legacy style game.
Yeah.
But the first adventure was just that, just an adventure, and that's really all I thought it was. Just tale after tale of different adventures that were just
we got a small hint of a small overarching theme, perhaps
in the very beginning.
Of the very beginning, but also at the very end when we did really well, like our ending. Because the endings for every game, and we haven't really talked much about this, but every expansion, including the first one, have different rewards per se with how well you did, how quickly you finished, how much you did X, Y, and Z.
Were you able to accomplish this on your way to doing this?
We got tripped up once even, and they even flipped the script on us at the end. They're like, well, do you have this? And then like, yeah, we got this. And then it turns out, well, take away 10 points if you got that. And we're like, what? Why? And then you read the next sentence and you're like, oh, you bastards. You made us think we got something good. And then they're like, if you have this, then you screwed up. And that's the first, that was what? Number 5th one, I think, and it was like, are you kidding me?
That was Expedition Endurance.
Yeah, that's what it was, and that was the one that we got to the end. And
we're like,
exactly, we're tallying up points and everything at the end. If you did this, and we picked it up, we have this one.
We did it. And, was like, wait,
and then you minus 10. Oh, you sons of. So everything you've expected gets reversed on you at some point.
They do like messing with you, and that. But
they don't like it. They live for it. They adore it. They're laughing at us now from France.
Like, well, Matt, you just do the exact opposite of what you want to do. Yeah, but they know. They know you're thinking that.
Yeah.
And then does
he
he know what I know?
Do they know that I know that he knows? And you're in the Princess Bride all over again.
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly.
And then you feel like you're playing with a Sicilian with death on the line. And how are you ever going to win?
That's
with a Sicilian with death is on the line. And then you fall over dead because the new mystery has been revealed, and the twist happens.
Time is up,
and then you're done, and that's it. That's the way this game plays you, man. Is that they are Wesley in this story. You are not the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Wow.
You are.
Wow.
You are the Sicilian who thinks you've figured it out.
I should also say this.
Because clearly the wine would not be in front of me. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Because I was thinking about this, and I can talk more about this in another podcast, but they didn't go to the high. If you look at all the places we've traveled, okay, and in the past, they're not picking it off what's hot and popular. Meaning, we didn't start off as cavemen in a dinosaur world, as cowboys on the wild frontier. You know what I'm saying? All the regular time tropes you'd probably think to take us at. You know, the I don't know,
the Star Trek tropes that we see.
You know, the infamous moments, right, in time and history.
Yeah.
They're not really taking us to those places. They're taking us to just random, I wouldn't say random, but they're just taking us to just different places in time, but it's not like we're going to do a whole history of mankind in this series.
That's a really good point. I haven't considered that.
We're not going through all the, we're not going through all the little places that you look at time travel shows and movies. And I think about Highlander, it hits all the high points. We're not taking place in the Civil War.
We don't have any JFK assassinations.
We don't have any JFK. Did the first rocket to the moon, and did something went wrong on that special occasion.
Right.
No, and the thing is, I like that because we can tell it. It tells a story of something that's an insignificant moment, in, well, we think is insignificant moment in time.
That's a good point.
But it happens in this era. But each one, and I'll give credit to this because everything in Time Stories, it draws you. We've talked about this in the very first one. It draws you into the theme.
Mm-hmm.
It draws you in. The paint. To be honest, I said this when we did the first review, but the board, boring. The pieces, boring. You look at the dice, boring. You look at the little tokens, boring. Okay? This screams boring. Yet, it's not about that. It's about the cards. It's about the art. It's about those 4 cards and how we kind of, everything else kind of disappears and all you look at is the cards. And that's brilliant in a way. Because you have to have everything generic. You have to have everything white, clean, clear.
Because then you can tell any story you want.
Because you can tell any story you want.
And every time we've been thoroughly engaged in what is this story? What are they doing here?
Yeah.
Because you're right. With Star Trek, for instance, then anyone who's ever listened to this podcast probably knows that I'm a Star Trek fan. Yeah. Time travel Star Trek episode. Okay, here we go. Here goes the Old West. Here comes whatever story. Here comes this. Here comes another thing with the Borg, or
the classic
something.
King Arthur's Knights. Why didn't we go to King
Camelot
Arthur's?
crap? You know,
why didn't we go to Camelot?
Right? Why? And you're right. And at the same time, you kind of like, okay, I see what they're doing. That's cute. That's fun. Any good TV show that goes on long enough,
Jack the Ripper,
and the writers run out of ideas. They're like, okay, well, let's recycle some crap.
Let's go to a classic.
And
let's go unearth a classic.
None of these feel. I've never felt like there's a tired trope in any of these expansions.
No, and they don't even go to any of those places.
You're right.
Which is the crazy
thing. They avoid it from the very beginning. Even with the setup of every pack, the setup keeps us. We are already enthralled by the time the setup is over. We're like, okay, well, that's new and interesting. Let's go.
Yes.
What? How could anyone crap on this game? I don't know.
I don't know. And the thing is, again, we haven't gotten to the end because that's what people were upset about.
Maybe.
Something about the end.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, for right now, and I've heard other reviews of this from I only watch from the one where we're finished. I don't watch anything ahead of time. Like I don't even open the box. Okay, I don't even open the box until the night comes. But because I don't want to look at anything, I don't want to spoil anything. But the thing is, though, you hear people going, "Oh, this is my best one. I don't like this one the best. I like this one better than this one." I'm like, I've enjoyed this whole run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that I'm easy to please.
You are not. We've talked about that before, especially with things like this.
Especially with things like, well, I didn't want to play this.
No, you didn't.
I played it because Nick. I felt bad because I'd left it on the top of my shelf there for like 6-8 months. He's like, "Hey, do you want to play that game?" I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want to play that game because I don't like legacy games. I don't like games you play once, you never go again." But we discussed this, and I do believe that in a year's time or whenever, I'll forget a lot of this.
Yeah.
All free. Now, obviously, the big surprises you won't forget.
Right.
But the little things, the little details, there's places to, and we will forget things after time.
And there, again, in this episode or this expansion, there are a lot of things I feel like we didn't see. That it is, a repeatable thing.
That's the other thing we should mention. A lot of time, you don't have time to explore every small crevice and detail.
No,
you just don't.
It feels like the first one may have felt that way. Like once we got through the first one,
we talked about that. The first one is one that you may have to explore.
Yeah, because it encourages you to check out more detail, and it's tripping you up, but helping you understand what's happening even in the first place.
But because they did that once,
and I feel like
never do it again.
You're right, and
that's what happened.
That first one, I feel like I've seen most of. There are a couple of characters we discovered afterward. We were like, if we would have had this character, this could have
made things easier.
This would have unlocked this or that, and made it easier. Right,
life would have been easier.
And then we talked about during the fantasy one of these that there were places we couldn't even go to without certain characters, so it demanded another replay.
I feel pretty confident that we've been everywhere in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty confident. You're right. With characters, it'd be different. But you know what? Speaking of that, there is a difference in what characters you pick each time, I believe. Each time. We kind of have fallen into a...
we've kind of started a pattern of it.
We've started a pattern of 3 types we get. Everyone's leading in one of the 3 things. We feel that that's the safest way. But there's some middle-of-the-road people who have some neat special abilities. Mm-hmm. And we've weighed at times, grabbing that person over our regular trope ones. But the thing is, there's other people. You think of all the different combos you're playing with, and all those little. And when I say special abilities, nothing's overpowering.
No,
but certain ones do come in
very handy at the right time.
If at the right time, if you happen to have that,
you're right.
And so it's one of those things. Because I think Nick had one of those powers in this expansion here that came in handy that one time. He's like, oh wait, I can do this. I got an extra die on these, whatever.
And you know why I even began choosing, I think it was about the 3rd expansion that I started choosing which one has the most strength. Just let me play the brute, because I felt like it was the one thing that I could control. Yeah. And that is at least something that I can know that my character will have.
I think there's brute, there's agility, which is usually what I
typically
take,
some
and then
version.
There's intelligence that Nick takes.
Yeah, some version, right, exactly.
And we try to take, and those are the 3 ones that we play with. I will say,
and it changes every game, but whatever that version is, we do that. Hello.
Yes, it is. Sure, yeah.
And it's great.
But no, it is fantastic. It is fantastic. I absolutely enjoy that, and I think we've got a good balance. We've got a good pattern. The only thing is, we need to realize, okay, what type of game are you playing? It's almost like we're talking to the box.
We're never.
You think the box is just looking at us and laughing?
Of course it is.
Going, you guys
it's
think
laughing at me right now.
Because every time we go, okay, so let's think.
Let's figure this out.
What's the hook?
Whatever.
What's the twist?
If you could see the smirk on my face right now, man,
you can't guess it. But just like you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off the Lone Ranger, and you don't say, guys, I think this is the worst.
I think this is the worst one I've ever played.
You don't say that,
because
then you're going to jinx the whole thing, and it's almost like the board game hears you and goes, okay,
oh well, righty then.
All right, fool.
Let's let
not
you
enjoying yourself, are we?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see if we can rectify that, and then it just blows you away. And that's
pull
just
out
one
the
of the things.
mystery deck, or I'm gonna pull out this special thing. It's absurd.
I also like, because I thought it mattered, and I'm as far as I can tell, it doesn't. But I thought the picture on the, we talked about the kind of boring covers, white with just one item. I thought that, that's the big key.
Yeah, we found the big item. It isn't.
It's not a clue. It's never a clue.
It might be.
We thought that in Marcy case, and we were wrong. And the thing is, though,
we thought that in this one too.
We thought that in this one too, because we thought, oh wow, we got this, and
it does matter.
It does matter.
It does matter. It's not the key to the story.
So I love how they did that too. It's like the picture on the box is just that. It's just an item in the game usually.
To help just set the mood or the tone.
Is it the thing that unlocks the world for you?
Of course not.
It's not.
Of course not.
And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Well, we say that now, and now the game heard me.
No, you're right.
So it's probably changing.
And so we're
going
to get to the finale.
Now.
It's rewriting itself like Jumanji right now in the box. Yeah, it's shifting around, and we're stuck in it. We just don't know it yet.
That is exactly what this game is.
It hears us. It knows.
Jumanji.
It's Jumanji-ing us.
That is beautiful.
If that's a verb, I just created it.
That is beautiful. That is exactly.
I mean,
you were immersed just like if you're playing the
happened.
Jumanji.
Yeah, I know. And you think you leveled up, but no, you didn't. You just moved from here to there.
Do you think Robin Williams would pop out of the next box?
Or The Rock?
All right. But
at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, me neither. But anyway, so just to wrap it up here, Lumen Fidei, Fidei, is another excellent expansion. Probably one of the best. It's hard to say that, though, because there's a lot of ones. We'll have to do something else where we just rank all these later on. But
that's going to be hard.
This was a solid adventure, just like all the others.
I agree with that. It was a solid adventure, just like all the others, and had a great twist moment, just like all the others. And, man, it was. It's going to be impossible to rank that in a top 5 or top 10 or top even anything. Like
it's going to be hard.
That's going to be wild.
Yeah, especially without spoilers.
But maybe one Saturday we will.
On Saturday
morning.
Samoflange!